That's when everybody's at work.
And that's when Christ was crucified.
Right.
So it's like a secret inside Masonic handshake. Everybody's at work. The kids are, coming home from school. Everything's kind of in limbo. And it's like got a symbolic meaning to them where they can all go.
Plus, wasn't it on Valentine's Day?
Yes, witness Valentine's Day massacres.
Right.
Very, very common. There'll also be industrial accidents that happen around this time.
Yes.
It's one of those historical good days to choose to kill a bunch of people.
Right.
So the night after, in the morning, in the early morning, somebody calls up to this hotel, which wasn't the hotel that people thought this killer who went off that he stayed at. It's a different hotel down the way. Okay. And they go, have you found a laptop? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So then they search the rooms and find out that there's a room that somebody didn't come back to, and they do find a laptop.
Well, how convenient that it was there.
And then the cops come in, and they take the laptop away, and they leave a bunch of this guy's clothes. Yeah. Just left them there. No, not like their evidence need to be kept. No,
they're just sitting there.
They just leave them there. And then they tell us that the laptop is missing a hard drive. Which it's very difficult to take a hard drive off of a laptop, because that's what it is.
Right.
It is a hard drive, I mean, it can be done, but it's stupid. Yes. It's like, basically what it's saying is it had a hard drive, but we don't want to admit it did, because
it's got all of our information on it.
It had our command center info for running the op, because that's the laptop that we fucking left behind at the hotel.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Why wouldn't they just go back and get it? If they didn't have any reason to suspect that anybody connected with that, why did they need to do that?
Well,
because if it just really was a case of them doing the black op where they left the thing, they don't need to announce that to the media. You do it under the radar.
And come to find out, this fella who was into the prisons had taken classes in the geology department. But two of the projects that they're working on one of them is they're going and they're looking at those cenote hole in the ground in the Yucatan.
Yeah.
Like they have an interest in those, and then also they have this big interest in going up and down to the two poles and doing them core sampling, like in.
All that's tied to the global warming stuff.
Right.
That's all how they figure out how we're progressing with the warming is by taking ice core samples.
And that's what they're doing. So I'm kind of like, either they're in on, like, these people are connected with the whole, like, world conspiracy, or they're trying to go warning somebody, this is a warning, you better go along with our global warming plan, or we need to get rid of this scientist, like all those microbiologists.
Right. But that's an awful auspicious way to kill somebody. I mean, I guess it could have a dual purpose.
Yes.
You can do the assassination and then in the meantime create this media sensation around this crazy, horrid tragedy that just happened to these young people that were looking at their future, and that kid was so good and nobody saw it coming, and it's Valentine's Day and you're supposed to be feeling good about being in love because that's what the greeting card companies have told you to do, but you don't really understand why you got to take your wife to dinner that night. Right. I mean,
it's a distress. It's something to talk about with your wife
at dinner.
You need something.
We're gonna be remembered as the people who dismissed the tragedy that happened on Valentine's Day as dinner date conversation fodder planted by the government.
It's a good theory. I think that's a valid theory. I think that you could probably do a research paper on it. I mean, there was massacres before this, but the thing is, nobody gave a shit because, like, it happened to your granny, you know, or your granny's
I don't
granny.
know that people really, I think we're becoming desensitized to these things by now because they've happened so often. Not just in colleges. There's the high school kids. There's the people that shoot up the fast food restaurants and the lubies and the, all that other stuff.
People, they all have
all them mass murderers.
There are a lot of, now I know that probably occasionally somebody is a freelancer. I mean, maybe. But even those people, I think the government comes in and tries to make a little more out of it. Like, they try to like come in with the second shooter and shoot, like, mow a bunch of people down. So it'll be a bigger story, you know. That's some kind of intelligence technique where you go in and you take a situation, and in order to spin it in a good way, you're like, oh, wait a second, we can turn this into a positive. Yeah. Well, I think eventually you just go, let's make our own fucking explosions because we know how to spin it. Yeah. And we got all the equipment. Yeah. And by golly, we can play the stock market while we do it. We can control the world, you know? And there is no fucking League of Justice superheroes, so it's not like there's anybody to fight
they're in the movies, which they are, and all over the TV.
Yeah, that's who runs all of that.
I saw a TV commercial the other day, or some kind of sketch. It was like superhero auditions, and, you know, how many times have we seen that one?
Yeah, superheroes are big. Because they wanna fool us into thinking that superheroes exist, and they don't. They ain't gonna come and save you.
There's a lot of superhero stuff in the media. You just keep an eye out for it.
Well, they're trying to also, they use the comics to, like, it's our story to program us. It's our program. It's the stupid young,
even that damn, you know, that damn, whatever that song was that everybody's doing the dance to, the Soldier Boy dance. They do the Superman. That's all programming in the Superman thing. All of that.
And it's to try to get you to do the right thing and be the Superman when all the time the man is fucking you.
The man is Lex Luthor. Make no mistake.
Right.
Okay. So, I have prepared a small bit of information about corn, which is the main ingredient in our dish today. And I think I think that sometimes I don't do enough to explain myself and why I choose different dishes. And usually it's because I've been sent off on a wild goose chase on one of my internet searches, and I happen to come across a tiny sliver of information, and me being the curious person that I am, follow the links, and I end up learning something that I never knew before. And so it inspires me to do some things in the kitchen with the show that I might not otherwise do, but sometimes I don't explain myself. So it's just in my mind, but I don't get to share it with y'all. But I realize y'all might want to know.
It might be
what my inspiration is.
It's like the making of.
Yes.
Arcie's dish.
Right. So here's kind of my backstory. I was doing some research about syphilis, and I came across a reference.
Which is a disease that Americans
It's a venereal disease.
I think they get it in other countries. I think it's all over, isn't it?
Right. And so I came across a reference to a different disease called pellagra. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's Pellagra. And it is a vitamin deficiency disease that has similar symptoms to syphilis.
Damn.
Yeah. And the symptoms are sensitivity, aggression, dermatitis, which is like rashes, skin lesions, insomnia, weakness, confusion, diarrhea, and dementia. And eventually it'll kill you in like 4 to 5 years if you don't get treatment.
I have that.
Pellagra. And so what causes pellagra is a nutrition deficiency generally brought on by eating only one thing, which is corn. So if you're really poor and you grow corn and that's all you got to eat, you eat nothing but corn, or most everything you eat is corn, like based on corn.
If you just ate Cheetos,
right,
that's all you ate.
Right, it's all you ate was like Doritos or Cheetos or whatever.
Yeah, and like that's it.
Yeah. So if you ate that and nothing else, and you didn't supplement with the right kinds of foods, then you would develop this nutritional deficiency, which leads to this condition, this disease known as pellagra, which the symptoms I have just described. So anyway, The reason why we know about pellagra is because back in the olden days, when the whitey man took over the Indian stuff, the Indians were raising the corn, which had been developed from a wild grass named, I think it's called teosinte,